Welcome back to Mike's Nav Corner. I'm Mike and I'm the skipper of Seefalke. The Kiel Canal connects the North with the Baltic Sea. It was built in 1895 and with 30,000 ship movements every year, it's the world's busiest artificial waterway, and that does not even count for sailboats like us. Today I would like to show you how to enter the Kiel Canal locks easily and stress-free. Even though the old lock is closed for repair and the big ships and sailboats like us need to share just one lock, the new lock, which adds to the challenge, admittedly, there's nothing to worry about if you're well prepared and just follow a few guidelines. We will use our onboard camera to guide you through this process, and you will see we also didn't do everything right, and we will point it out and we will learn our lessons together. We are approaching the waiting area in front of the locks of Kiel-Holtenau. The waiting area for leisure craft is shown on the chart, and it is south of Thiesenkai in the eastern exit of the old lock. Turn your VHF radio to channel 12, the Lockmaster. Call sign Kiel Canal 4. Unless you're the only boat in the waiting area, there's no need to call the Lockmaster on radio. If you use your radio, please keep strict radio discipline. In the locks there is a light signal mast. The only light signal that is relevant for sailboats and other leisure craft is a white blinking light. This means you can enter the lock. All other lights mean do not enter the lock. Waiting time can easily be up to 1.5 hours. Don't worry, they will not forget about you. Use the waiting time to hang out the fenders. Make sure they're hanging really low down to the surface of the water. Hang them on both sides because you don't know yet on which side the lockmaster will order you to moor your boat during the locking process. If the locking will be done in a shared process together with the big ships, usually the sailboat and leisure craft will be told to moor on the opposite side of the big ship. As the big ships are entering the locks first, if you see a big ship mooring on starboard side, for example, you will know that the sailboats and leisure craft will moor at the port side. So get your port side ready for the locking procedure. You are not allowed to anchor in the waiting area, so if necessary, just go in circles. To reduce waiting time, the lockmaster very often calls the leisure craft toward the lock area just before the locking process starts. But don't enter the lock before the appropriate signal is shown, which is a flashing white light. Here you can see the signal mast on the center wall between the two lock chambers. However, on our video you don't see the white flashing light. As you can see, the big ship has moored on starboard side, and all the sailboats are going to port side of the lock. You enter the lock with the big ship already moored. Be aware that mostly they keep their propellers running, which causes a lot of current in the lock chamber. On the left side you will see a yellow marker. This yellow marker indicates the end of the usable lock chamber, so you cannot moor behind that yellow marker. I think we probably picked a too long a bowline. See how tangled it is and how difficult it is to handle on the pier. This ring shows that the lock chambers are being closed.
Tell me when it's safe to dock.
Be careful jumping on the floating pier, it might be slippery. A shorter line would definitely have made our life easier.
Where do I attach it?
Tie the lines only to the floating pier, never to the wall.
The ring? Ready? Voll! Nein? Auf der anderen Seite. Also rechts rüber, ne?
Because the current during the locking process in the lock chamber might be significant, secure your boat with both lines and springs.
Look out! Look out up front!
Ja.
You want it closer?
Here you can see how the bowspring pulls the bow towards the pier.
Well, this is back up here or back over there?
During the locking process, stay on your boat or on the pier.
Right here?
Never climb the ladders up the wall. Those ladders are for emergencies only. Now you can only wait until the locking process is over and you are signaled to leave the locking chamber. Leisure craft usually leave the locking chamber first. Again, when you pass the big ship, be aware of current caused by their propellers. And last not least, don't forget to pay the fee on the other side of the locking chamber, on the waiting area on the western side of the lock. The fees are depending on the length of your boat and are approximately 15 to 20 euros for the complete passage.
That was a little too tight.
If you prepare your passage through the Kiel Canal, you should read the guidelines for leisure craft operators issued by the German VSV. It shows all the radio channels, the light signals, and the rules and regulations that need to be followed in the Kiel Canal. It's available in German and in English, and it's a very good brochure. It's available on the internet. It's available as a brochure in the ports and marinas around the Kiel Canal, and it is a mandatory, I would say it's a mandatory lecture during your passage planning for the Kiel Canal. So I hope you enjoyed our little video, and I hope your Kiel Canal passage will be stress-free and joyful.